The Soulsborne series is my all-time favorite gaming series. I didn't start them until Bloodborne, but since then I've gone back and played all the older ones, kept up with the newer ones, and played them all multiple times. In each game there's one area that you are bound to spend a great deal of time at, and that is the Hubworld, the area where you level up, restock, and upgrade your character. Literally the most important area of the game. But of the 7 games from Demon Souls to Elden Ring, which one is the best? I've gone through and tried my best to dissect what I love and hate about each one of these to get my personal ranking of them all. And it was tough, and if you disagree with some of my opinions, let me know in the comments down below. But without further ado, let's get on to ranking all 7 of these Hubworlds. In last place we have the Nexus from Demon Souls, and I'll go ahead and acknowledge, I like Hubworlds to be connected to the world itself and not just a place to teleport out of to other areas, and that's exactly what happens here with all of the Archstones. And you can probably come close to predicting some of the other placements on this list because of that one statement, but it's just my opinion on the matter. But even outside of that, I'm just not a big fan of the Nexus. The color palette, the staircases, the hallways, more staircases, the area just looks almost all the same, and I'm personally just not a big fan of this look. I do love that the old one is asleep underneath the area itself, and it fits into the lore and all that, and I also like the music a lot in this area. I mean, it's some of the best music in the series, but I'm just never excited to visit the area in the game as an overall. The Nexus is just probably the most generic hub world in the entire series to me, and that's why I put it in last place. In 6th place we have the Firelink Shrine from Dark Souls 1. See, my last statement about liking Hubworlds to be part of the core world didn't completely predict my list. And yes, I know the Firelink Shrine is part of the world of Dark Souls and you literally can't teleport out of it after a certain point, but to me, this is the hub that feels least like a hub. Like I said, you can't teleport out of it, the blacksmith isn't even here, you can't level up here after a certain point, the firekeeper dies so you can't reinforce your Estus, and some of the NPCs that upgrade your items are rendered useless by other NPCs spread throughout the world, like with the Pyromancy build. I just feel like the Firelink Shrine is really just a hub world until about halfway through the game, and then it's not a hub at all anymore. Now I do like how so many of the areas connected to Shrine, I like the giant bird that teleports you back to the start of the game, and I like how it opens up to the Lord Vessel, and most of all, I like the way it looks. The gloomy atmosphere and the music, it all fits together just perfectly. It reminds me of that movie Calvary, which has nothing to do with Dark Souls, it just reminds me of that environment. But this is a really good hub area, and if it was a true hub area and wasn't rendered useless as the game progressed, it would be near the top. In 5th place we have the Dilapidated Temple from Sekiro. This game is sort of the oddball out in the series, but it's still a Souls game and it does have a hub world that's pretty vital to the game, so therefore we're throwing it into the list. And it's not just a teleporting location either, but it's built deeply into the world. You come here for all your core upgrades such as new moves, gourd increases, and more. What is most different about this one though is there's also a training area, and it's the only game to have a training area like this. However, this is also the only game that would need a training area because the combat in this game is so much more complex than any of the other games. But outside of that new training area, it's a pretty basic hub world. It doesn't play as much into the story as some of the higher games on this list, and it lacks some of the mystery that I like, and I do love mystery that you'll see higher up on this list, but it's just a beautiful landscape nonetheless, and it serves the purpose, but it's still a pretty basic hub world. In 4th place we have the Firelink Shrine from Dark Souls 3, and you'd think I'm just simply not a fan of the Firelink Shrine at this point, putting them both on the lower, the mid part of this list, but it's actually not true at all. I like both of the Firelink Shrines, and I especially like the one in Dark Souls 3. Coming at it from the lore of Dark Souls 1 and seeing what it's become and how it's almost like an underground future hideout at this point, glorious. This area is filled with interesting NPCs and everything you need is literally in one place. Plus there's so much to explore. You can go outside of it, you can go up on the loft, find cool items, explore all the catacombs, and so much more. This hub felt like an area that was necessary and fit better into the story bit than some of the lower entries. Now I'll admit you can't look out and really see all the world that you're going to explore, and I do wish it was a bit more connected. However, I tend to view it more like a different timeline, and therefore teleporting is necessary from this Firelink Shrine. And the idea of finding the Dark Firelink and the teleport timeline, I just love that, and I love when games do things like this. And like I said, I don't have all the answers to why there are two Firelinks or exactly how all the timeline works that I speak of here, but it creates the mystery, and I love the questions that it raises and the stories you can create for yourself, in particular with this Firelink Shrine. Overall, this one just felt much more rich in the game lore and necessary to the game itself. In third place, we have the Round Table Hold from Elden Ring, another teleporting hub world. However, this one falls into a similar camp as Dark Souls 3 and lets you access the hub within the real world and has lore of why the secondary one exists, albeit not clearly stated like all From Software games. From what I've read and gathered is that this hub world is located in the Erd Tree itself and was created as a safe haven after the Shattering. That is why when you set the Erd Tree aflame later on in the game, the Round Table Hold ignites as well. Regardless though, it's still a teleporting hub world and doesn't feel as much like part of the world as I would like, especially since it's literally a small distant addition on the map in the far left hand corner. The hub itself though is just as rich as Dark Souls 3 with more corridors to unlock, areas to explore, and characters to interact with. The whole area is beautiful to behold. I love the furniture, the carpet, the decorations. Man, I'm sounding like HDTV here, but the place is just beautiful. While more necessary than the Dark Souls 1 hub world, it's just simply not quite as necessary as the Dark Souls 3 world, because several things such as leveling up and such can be done at points of grace, and so many items can be bought throughout the journey. This one and the Firelink Shrine from Dark Souls 3 were very close in these two placements, but I do think the Round Table Hold edges it out just barely because of the way it changes and some of the interactions and fights that you can have within the area. In second place, we have the Hunter's Dream from Bloodborne, the final teleporting hub world on this list. However, this one tends to play into the lore of the game the most and is more necessary than any of the other ones. Similar to Dark Souls 3, you have to level up here, buy all your items here, upgrade your weapons, and equip runes. Everything pretty much has to be done here. Also similar to Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring, another version of this hub is found within the core game itself, but the lore explains how the dream is created by Garmin, and as the game progresses you actually have the final fight in the hub world. Therefore, even though you have to teleport from the hub to the rest of the game, the core game itself is actually based in the hub world. It's just fascinating to me how the game almost tricks you to a degree to thinking that the least important part of the game of just leveling up is actually the most important part of the game. There aren't as many characters in the hub world itself, however I tend to think it is more a quality over quantity here, with the doll and Garmin as some of the most fascinating hub world characters in the series. And while I'll admit there's not anywhere near as much to explore in this area, it does feel like it's the most to the point, cohesive in lore, and important of any of the entries thus far. In first place we have Majula from Dark Souls 2. Majula is literally hub world perfection. I love everything about this area. I love how it's actually interconnected to the world itself instead of forced teleporting. I love the coast with the ocean hidden against the rocks. I love how the colors of the world makes it feel like it's autumn all the time. I love the manor to the south, the little pigs out in front of it. I love that there's a house with literally just a cat whom you need to talk to. And all the things I listed isn't even just all there is to do either. There are tons of NPCs to talk to, a graveyard of important characters that you may have killed off, a well in the center, and a true choice to explore so many areas of the world from this one location. While the lore of the town isn't as rich as some of the lower entries on this list, the characters that fill the town contribute to the desolate theme of the game itself more than any of the other ones on the list. You're required to come here for all your major tasks, and the area of the Emerald Herald, it just gives you a sense of home when you actually return. And the music, man do I love the music. So calming, and honestly probably my favorite song in the whole Souls series. I just love the atmosphere that is created inside Majula. I know some people don't really like Dark Souls 2, but this hub world alone makes me want to go back and play the game just as much as any of the other ones. And that's why Majula is first place in my ranking. But truth be told, I love all the Soulsborne games, and each one has some areas that are better than the others, and this list just focuses on the hub worlds because that is the area where you're most likely to spend a great deal of your time at. But what do you all think? Which hub world would you rank at the top? Which one would you rank at the bottom? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And as always, go out there, find a great game to play, just simply have a great rest of the day.